Fellow Spartans, I hope you're ready for a bonus episode. Bonus episode 35, our first and only bonus episode from 2025. Sorry about that. Was an epic, blood-soaked affair. First, we fought at the Battle of Thermopylae in 300. Then we made our way to the Battle of Artemisium and its pre-sequel? 300, Rise of an Empire. A bonus episode of Watch, Review, Repeat will begin soon. But first, some words from the one and only King Leonidas.
This is Sparta!
Welcome to Watch, Review, Repeat. This is the podcast where two best friends discuss the latest in film and television and then do it all over again the following episode. My name is Colton Brown, and joining me, fellow Spartan, Andrew. Bonus episode 35. A bonus episode number 1 of 2025. We are Stranger Thingsing this shit right here. We are getting it in under the wire. If we put it out right on December 30th, December 31st.
Totally counts.
On Patreon, then it counts as a 2025 release. That's how it works. I don't make the rules, So here we are with another bonus episode, the much promised, long awaited, highly anticipated bonus episode of 2025. We are here with 2 movies to talk about on this bonus episode here. 300 and 300, Rise of an Empire. It's
is it the 300 franchise? Is that what you would call that?
Yeah, I guess at this point it's just the 2 movies for now, but just the 2 movies. And this is really exciting. Number one, because it's a bonus episode, and we have not assembled in the entirety of 2025 to date to have a bonus episode, quite like this, where it is just fully, hey, let's pick an old thing and talk about it. But because this is the final time that we're recording in 2025, this is kind of our last hurrah, our last send-off for 2025 for our supporters on Patreon, I'll say, and I'll get into that and get into a little bit of, hey, why are you guys talking about 300 and its sequel? I'll get into that in a second. So what I will say on the bonus episode front, what I should say before I say anything else is, if I sound a little bit different, I am recording this away from home in New York. So I do not have my usual setup for things. So I'm working out of a laptop. So my screen real estate's a little smaller. I'm using my old microphone going back to the beginning of the podcast days, which I think still holds up and should still sound just fine, but I can't hear myself. I don't have my in-ear monitoring set up for myself, so I have no idea how I actually sound. So if I sound drunker than I usually do, it's because I can't hear myself.
And it's not because you're actually drunker.
No, and it's not because I've had some sort of beverage that Anna made for me that had just liquor mixed with liquor, and then just for funsies, maybe an extra dash of liquor on top of that. But with a little peppermint rim, crushed candy cane rim. Pretty good stuff there. And I'm also drinking a 9% beer. It wouldn't have anything to do with that. Just to make that abundantly clear for everyone.
I think I probably have to get myself a drink because I've been drinking water all day. Nothing but water.
Yeah, I think our Patreon listeners will hear it more than our regular listeners, but they're liable to hear some coughing and sniffling and all that stuff because it sounds like you maybe have caught a bug or something from your young ones. But it's the children's
nasty little animals.
Yeah, little vectors of disease sometimes, unfortunately. But they gotta get their immune systems trained up on these sorts of things so they can be perfectly functional little humans, So
that's the way it goes.
That's the way it goes.
But I got a little treat for you.
Okay, all right. You want to go into a little treat action right now?
A little treat action. I'll just dive right into a little treat action real quick at the top of the episode. I've been doing some thinking. Okay, 2026. Right. I think This might be a hot take. I don't know, but I think the largest release coming out, the biggest movie of 2026 is going to be The Odyssey. Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey.
It's certainly a big one. I mean, we have yet to do a look ahead episode, and I have to imagine that's going to be part of the conversation. But we'll have to see how it compares, I guess, to other big releases. But it's definitely a big one, that's for sure. Maybe it's number one in your heart. I don't know.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of Greek stuff, and just been really eating that shit up all year, 2025.
Sure.
Anyways, for Christmas, I got a Mythology trivia game. So what I figured we would do is I would fish out all the Greek questions out of this game. I would ask you the question, and this will be a way to get the listeners up on potentially the characters that are going to present themselves in the Odyssey. And we can know a little backstory of them, and instead of having a fun fact or whatever, we'll just do a quick little trivia deal. I'll boil it down to a
little mythology trivia. Okay.
Yeah, I'll boil it down to like a 50-50 option, you know what I mean? So, and it stays relevant for a movie coming out in 2026, and we're starting with a movie that takes place in late.
Right now we're getting into some things that tangentially are tied into
Greek city state,
ancient Greek stuff. Yeah, for sure, absolutely. All right, well, let's hear it. You got something to ask me? Is that how this works?
Yeah. What Greek hero slays Medusa, a beast who turns anyone who looks upon her to stone?
Oh,
she's also a gorgon. That's what they call Medusa. She's a gorgon.
Right. Yeah. Snakes.
Yeah.
For like hair or whatever. Yeah. All right. What Greek hero does this? Okay.
Yeah. So it's option A is Perseus. Option B is Hercules.
I'm gonna go with Hercules. I don't know if that's right, but
that would be incorrect. It was Perseus. Young Perseus. Right. And I think he used the Aegis shield is what he used, which is pretty cool.
Damn.
It's like a real reflective kind of deal. And it was one of his things. Like I can't get too deep into it because I know I'll end up being wrong about something. But Perseus had to do all this stuff to prove himself, and he went and fucking slayed Medusa.
So what's going to happen with this segment is that my wife is going to be embarrassed of me and have to teach me all these things. So I'll be ready to go next time. Don't worry about it. See, I intentionally
ask her about Perseus.
Wrong.
He's a badass.
Oh, she'll know. She'll definitely know. I have been reading some of the Percy Jackson books.
Well, he's named after Percy. Percy Jackson.
And I feel like I should have known that, and that's probably come up in that book or first few books, and I just didn't remember that. Also, Hades, the video game Hades, played a lot of that. It's not 1-to-1, but Hades 2 is out, and I got to play that at some point. I don't. I'm gonna get myself prepped. This was a shot at the bow, and I'm like, all right, I cannot embarrass myself further. So I'm off to a really
and if you end up on
and
Jeopardy. Sometimes the shit pops up on Jeopardy, too.
Oh, totally. It'll absolutely pop up on Jeopardy. No question about it. All right. Well, I'm going to take the L on this one, even though it was a 50-50 chance. I bungled it. I totally bungled it. Just got to own it, But it's a lesson I will carry with me into future episodes, into 2026 as I right the ship. Well, thank you for sharing that a little bit of mythology trivia with everyone. Right now I'm going to set up things about what this episode is, why we're talking about the 300 franchise, and then we are going to go right into the first 300, and then we will get into the second 300, and then that will be the episode. So this is a bonus episode. It's, as I said, the 35th bonus episode that we've done overall. How we typically do these, and I say typically, and obviously it has not been typical in 2025, but typically in years prior to 2025, we record these a few times a year, if not more frequently, or, as frequently as we can. We treat them as timed exclusives for our supporters on Patreon. We try to do this, put it up there for a month or so that people who are chipping in a couple bucks a month have an extra incentive beyond the fact that they get early access to regular episodes and stuff like that. So that's what this episode's going to be. So it'll be up in 2025 for our Patreon supporters. It will be dropping on the regular feed in 2026. I don't know exactly when. Most people listening to this will be listening to this, but it'll be in 2026 sometime, which is only a few days away for us, of course, as I've said. But yeah, so if you are listening to this in 2025, or it appeared on your feed at least, if you haven't had the chance to listen to it before the new year, thank you regardless. We appreciate anyone that's supporting us on Patreon. And if you are not supporting us on Patreon and you're listening to this in 2026, well, no big deal. It's not too late. I think our hope certainly is to do more than one bonus episode in 2026. But of course, if you get on there, it's just $2 a month. You get bonus episodes like this, the timed exclusive access. But in addition to that, one of the biggest perks, I think, is you'll get early access to all of our regular episodes. And so, sometimes things take me a good while to get out. I think we've been better, I think, with the newer format. As we've shifted to the newer format, we've had shorter episodes, generally speaking. So there's been less of a turnaround time, but there's always some turnaround time. So if you want to do that and help us out, of course, I think is maybe another thing that I could sell you guys on. It's not just about how it benefits you, but certainly how it benefits us, and it benefits us in a very tangible way. We are able to use your money and put that back into the costs of the podcast, whether it's upgrading equipment, which we've done in the past with some Patreon funds, or if it's just, going towards our hosting costs for the website, for hosting the pod itself and stuff like that. We don't do the Patreon to make money. We do it to kind of help us, stanch the bleeding in a way of, the money that we put in, which we do because we need to, when we like having this thing and it's fun. But at the same time, it'd be nice if it was something where people are paying it back to us too in some ways. People that get enjoyment out of our episodes. If you get any enjoyment out of our episodes, and you may not, you may not. I'm not, no judgment, no judgment cast here. But if you do, and you're able to contribute, we would really, really appreciate it. It goes a long way. So patreon.com/watchreviewrepeat is the place to go. I don't think I've said that yet, so I should have led with that. But we haven't done one of these in a long time, so I don't know what I'm doing anymore. So 300 and 300 Rise of an Empire might seem like an interesting choice for a bonus episode. I think it certainly ties into the epics and stuff, which certainly one reason for doing it. We of course, I guess really going back to 2024, did a series of bonus episodes where we talked about a bunch of epics. We did Lawrence of Arabia. We did all the Lord of the Rings movies. Troy, yeah. I think we did Troy at one point, right? Which very, very, very directly ties into the Odyssey. Maybe one other, I'm not sure. I could be misremembering. That might have been it. Potentially. But we did a whole bunch of one-off, we kind of recognized we used to do, let's do five movies in one episode. Let's do like 6 movies in one episode. And then kids came into the picture, and it was just kind of like, I don't have time for that. On top of, recording, going to a theater to see something watching 8 episodes of a TV show. It just became not practical. So we kind of reined in the bonus episodes to be these more focused things, just doing like 1 or 2 movies at a time. Which led us to doing, I think, that epic series, and that was probably around the time that we learned that Nolan was doing the Odyssey as like his next thing. I don't know if that's exactly how it worked or if that was exactly the inspiration, but it was probably roughly the same time frame once we started to figure out what Nolan was up to, with his next movie. So this is sort of a return to our epic series. I mean, the 300 movies are epics in their own ways, certainly not in terms of runtime, but I think in terms of tone, in terms of, ancient Greek, history and stuff like that. And, and mythology in some ways. There's definitely some incorporation of mythology in there a little bit. It all kind of ties into that sort of thing. So this is a return to our epic series, and kind of leading up to what we certainly would like to be the epic to end all epics in the Odyssey, but we'll see how that goes. We have a few months to wait before we can certainly make that call. But also, I think there's like 2 other reasons that I'll just point out of like why it was really fun to do these movies as this bonus episode. We of course made many jokes, I think probably pre our episode 300 of this podcast, where we did our 5 favorite film directors. I think we probably joked about 300 either on air or off air about like, oh, what if we just hit 300 for 300? Wouldn't that be funny? And I think it would have been funny, to be clear. But I think literally on episode 300, we made a Zack Snyder joke, of Zack Snyder being one of our favorite 5 favorite directors, and then we quickly backtracked and said, well, maybe not. It's kind of paying that off a little bit. I think that kind of sowed the seeds of like, well, what if we just did it? what if we just did the 300 movie? And then it was like, well, what if we did 300, should we do just 300? Do we just pretend that Rise of an Empire doesn't exist? Do we just do them both? And I think we just decided to embrace it and do it both. And I think, in part for me, my reasoning for including the second movie, not just for the completionist side of things, but it's also because the idea of the title just makes me laugh, the way that we title in our podcast feed, because I don't know exactly what episode number it's going to be, but it's going to be 300 something. So if it's like 310, it's going to be 310, 300/300 Rise of an Empire, which is just pure title gore. And I'm usually someone that likes things to be like clean and look nice and like pretty. And like,
this definitely will not be that. And
this will be the opposite. That this will be like one of the few episodes where it's just like, oh my God, it's absolutely fucked. It's wretched. But you kind of have to love it at the same time. So those are all reasons that have contributed us to us being here, to us watching a couple 300 movies in the month of December, taking time away from the Christmas movie calendar to watch some goddamn epics, to talk about 300 and 300 Rise of an Empire. I think that's pretty much going to be it for the intro stuff. I think maybe it's time to just dive into these movies. And I will say full spoilers for these movies that are each of them either a decade or 2 decades old, effectively. And also they're, we'll say, loosely based on history. So, read a textbook, man, if you're worried about that sort of thing. But
it's the most epic fucking thing, like, in history, is the Battle of Thermopylae. That is so crazy. It's so ridiculous.
Oh man, it's incredible. It's incredible stuff. No, I mean, there's no reason. There's no surprise that it was the impetus for Frank Miller and company, and then Zack Snyder and company to make adaptations of it, right? So let's get into it. You ready to get into 300?
We will get into 300. Let's do it.
All right, 300. The first 300 was released back in March of 2007. If you could travel back in time, hey. We were young lads that definitely enjoyed this movie, and we'll talk about that, I'm sure, as we talk about this movie. But let me just set things up. It was written by Zack Snyder, Kurt Johnstad, and Michael B. Gordon, directed by the one
Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Gordon.
Gordon. Okay.
It's
sorry.
No, I might have said Michael B. Jordan. I actually don't know, because again, I can't hear myself. So who's to say? Directed by Zack Snyder, based off of the graphic novel 300 by Frank Miller and Len Varley. This film stars Gerard Butler, as I call him, Jerry. David Wenham, as I call him, Denny, my boy.
Oh shit, it is, isn't it?
Harold Meacham, Lena Headey, Dominic West, Vincent Regan, Michael Fassbender. Oh man, the first time we probably ever saw Michael Fassbender in our lives, and Rodrigo Santoro. In the ancient battle of Thermopylae, King Leonidas and 300 Spartans fight against Xerxes and his massive Persian army. All right, let's talk about 300, because there's some history here, for you and I with 300, and we can, I don't know if you want to start there, if you want to talk about your experience watching 300 back in the day, or if you just want to get right into the nitty gritty and talk about the movie itself. I'm gonna open the floor up to you, and I'll let you take it in whatever direction you want to take it in.
All right. Well, I want to start by plugging in a podcast by it's called Hardcore History by what's the guy's name?
I think Dan Carlin, right?
Dan Carlin. Dan Carlin has this podcast called Hardcore History, and he does this whole and he does incredibly deep dives on usually it's like military stuff and history. But he did a deep dive on the Battle of Thermopylae, what led to it, the battles of Marathon, and that sort of thing. And just like the entire like destruction of the Greek, Republic, I guess, right? It was it's a very, 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 very fascinating thing. The Persian Empire talks about them. I think it's King of Kings is the name of that, like.
That
segment.
sounds familiar. I feel like I've had it in my like podcast queue for as long as I've had podcasts, and I've never listened to any of it. But I've not just
Super good.
not just from you. I've heard great things all over the board. But no, that's really interesting. Now I'm like, oh, maybe I should listen.
It's really, really, really cool. He also, on a side note, not to get into the weeds, but to dabble in the weeds a little bit, he also does one on World War One. Or no, he does one on World. Yeah, he does World War One and then World War Two. But he talks about just how like you had people riding into machine guns on horses because they were fighting like the way they fought 100 years ago. But there was like a giant leap in technology, and it just massacred people on the largest scale. It was crazy for World War One. Yeah, totally nuts. Anyways, 300.
300.
300 came around. I think it's probably middle school time, 6th or 7th grade.
I meant to do some of the math on this, but yeah, I would say middle school sounds right. I think so, right? Because this would have come out March 2007. We would have been, how old would we have been?
March of
roughly?
2007. We graduated in 10.
Right. So
that would be.
Yeah, this is like middle high school, like somewhere around the
9th,
like
10th grade,
like 8. Yeah. That sounds right. Something around there. So around there, yeah.
Prime time for young adolescent men to be pumped up over some fucking epic swordplay and one-liners and all sorts of stuff. And it appealed to me quite a bit. I read the graphic novel. I think I borrowed it from your brother, and I had to read it because it was contraband. I had to like hide it, and it was one of those books I had to hide.
It's just history, man. What could be wrong with that?
What could be wrong with that? Yeah, I remember playing a game on the PSP.
It's like there's like big wolves and some monsters and some freaky looking people in it, but it's basically history.
Yeah. And we went to a church camp once.
I think we went a couple times, but I think one time in particular.
The movie had just come out or whatever.
This was in very recent memory. Yeah.
And in the middle of the night, like everybody goes to bed in their own bunks, like their own little cabins with like 12 people in them or whatever. And like you have like a guy that's in charge of the cabin. Our camp guy woke us up, said something like, we're going to go to battle. Wake up, get up. So we get up and like, what the hell's going on? And all the camp people had all the people out of the bunks, and then we all met in this giant field, and we're doing the hoo-ah, hoo-ah, hoo-ah. And it was just ridiculous. It will be forever ingrained in my brain.
No, core memory for sure. Yeah. I'm glad you remembered, because that's one of the things when I think about 300 that sticks out in my head is just, I think I've said as much, I think probably as recently as the Wake Up Dead Man episode. I'm not someone that's overly religious. I think I went to that camp because you were. Yeah. You probably were more religious overall, but more specifically, you were with a family that was definitely more religious, and so that was kind of the impetus for going. But it was fun, and like even at church camp you can do 300 shit, and it's just fucking epic. It's awesome. You know what I mean? Like, it's some good stuff. And that's a core memory, it's just, I don't know, it brings me joy to think about. There were the other parts of that where it's just like, prayer circles. I'm like, all right, well, I'm here for the other stuff. I think the 300 stuff is what I'm here for mostly, but
right. The Decemberist, you got the Decemberist play.
All right. Yeah.
Wearing a revenge song.
It was fun. It was those fun memories, man. Fun memories.
Yeah, for sure. 300 thing though is probably the most epic thing that I recall.
When else would you be able to live out 300?
That's what it was. There were like 300 kids in that field too. It was small.
And granted, we were not swole as fuck. We did not go through the months of training camp, to be in fighting shape. Prior to that, we were not warriors. We were probably more akin to the potters, and what are you by trade? We're kind of more in that vein, I think.
Spartans, what is your profession? Oh!
These guys are fucking crazy. I can only imagine. Could you imagine that? You meet some people. You're going to defend your home. And
oh man, I think I'm more of an Ephialtes kind of type, where it's like I don't, I have some sort of limitations. I can't get into shape like this. Something's going on here. I think, guys. Sorry.
So and we rewatched this. I haven't seen this movie in like 15 years. I haven't seen it in a long ass time.
Same. I haven't revisited this in probably over a decade. Yeah, probably since Rise of an Empire. I probably rewatched this movie around the time that I watched Rise of an Empire, which I don't think I even saw in theaters. I think maybe within the year or two that it came out. So I would put it at a decade for myself. So a long ass time for both of us, to be fair,
Yeah, and it took me a minute, because there's the whole beginning part where he's a kid, and he's hunting the wolf and stuff, and they're just kind of like laying the groundwork of this military state that Sparta is, And anyways, it gets to the point, and I was like, oh man, the colors of this movie are just kind of drab. This is definitely Michael Bay shit, early Michael Bay shit. There's a lot of slow-mo, and this is before. That's what. Did I say Zack Snyder?
You said Michael Bay.
No, I meant Zack Snyder. I meant Zack Snyder.
Okay.
That's why I thought it was Michael B. Jordan. I just always get my names mixed up.
It's all the Michaels.
Yeah. Anyways, this guy, and it took me a minute to get into it, but when they met
the messenger that comes in.
No, not even the messenger part.
Not even that.
That part didn't really even get me pumped up too. It's just man. But what got me pumped?
Oh, was it the other guy? He's saying 1,000 nations of the. Is that it?
No. It was before that. So
before that, all right. You just tell me.
I'll tell you.
Stop trying to read your mind.
So he kicks the guy in the well. It's like, okay, I've seen this. I've seen this a million times.
Pretty cool.
It's a thing.
It's been memed to death since then. All right.
All super super slow mo. The whole sequence, like the entire time the guy was on screen, it was slow mo. Just about. Like I don't know if I'm here for this. I may have grown out of this movie. I don't know. And then he goes and meets the Oracle, and it's real self-indulgent kind of thing, and it's like, I'm still not here for it. I don't know, and then Gerard Butler tells that guy, he's like, I'm going for a walk. I'm just going for a walk with my personal guard. I'm like, okay, I might be getting here for this, because he pretty much tells that guy to fuck off. He's just going to go for a walk. Are you going to stop me from walking? Because no. So he goes, and then he meets those fucking people on the road, and they're like, I thought you were coming with the fucking Spartan army. He's like, I brought more soldiers than you. What's your profession? Oh, I'm a shepherd. I'm a potter. I'm a blacksmith.
Spartans, what is your profession?
Oh, and everybody's just like, well, what the fuck?
All right, so that was the moment you clicked back in, you think?
I snapped back in immediately. I started to step in when he told that guy to fuck off, and then once he met the other guys, I was locked in. I'm here for it.
All right. Were you locked in for the rest of the experience? Did it keep you enthralled, engaged throughout?
It did. Yes, it did.
All right. So does 300 hold up? Is that maybe what we're here to answer?
No, I don't know if I'd go that far. Okay. What I will say is it's definitely nostalgic. I think it's a movie.
Does it hold up for you on a personal level at least?
Yes,
perhaps.
Yes, it was entertaining. I got a lot of entertainment value out of this movie. The one-liners, I laughed a lot. I thought it was it's a very self-indulgent movie. Like it's very head up its own ass kind of stylistically, but I think it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun for a movie. I had a really good time. You want to watch an action movie, man? Mm-hmm. You want to watch it's a fucking action movie. That's plain and simple. That's all it is. That's it.
But I mean, it's about like one of the most epic fucking battles in history.
Oh, that makes it even more cool.
And it's the circumstances of it that I think make it really, really so badass. Is you're up against these overwhelming odds, the thousands upon thousands of the the Persian Empire.
1,000 nations of the Persian Empire descend on you.
Exactly.
Our arrows will blot out the sun.
Then we will fight in the shade.
against 300 fucking guys that don't even have armor or anything. They're just fucking
guys.
like loincloth and a
They're
spear.
running around in their underwear, man. Like, it's fucking bad. They got on underwear, and a red cape. Like, that's some badass shit. You cannot top the badassery that is on display in 300. You just cannot.
No, you can't. You can't do it.
Yes, it is obviously the most badass thing that you could watch if you're 13, 14 or whatever we did the math out.
Definitely that.
But when you're 30 plus, we'll say, I don't know, man. It scratches a sort of itch as well. I think this first one particularly definitely scratches the right sort of itch, and I don't really think we've seen anything quite like it. I mean, other than the sequel, which we'll get to. Like Spartacus, I think the series definitely has shades of it, and I think that it has like some really, really clear inspiration in those first few episodes until it kind of finds its own footing. But other than that, I don't, I think especially like visually and stuff like that, I think we've gotten away from this type of thing, which is interesting in its own sort of way because like obviously this is like Zack Snyder recreating the graphic novel. Like to me, it really felt like a motion comic in some ways of just the way that it was shot and how faithful it was to trying to bring the page to the screen. Like we don't really see that, and I think even with Snyder's other stuff with like Watchmen, like it's not quite as faithful. He's definitely not worried about it looking exactly like the graphic novel as he is about
not like they did
trying to translate the story. Not like this, not at all. I actually thought that was really interesting how faithful it was in terms of the storytelling, to the point where it's like, what is it, like Xerxes or something, like looks towards the screen at one point and you get the eye, or it's like one of his servants or something like that, and you just like it like recreates it like like really like almost like panel perfect, which was like kind of fun and cool in a sort of way. Like I enjoyed that. But honestly, like when you think about this, like when you think about the behind the scenes of this movie, it's just a bunch of fucking dudes in underwear on a blue screen, or, not literally, like I would say a green screen, but I think it literally was blue screens that they use. And so much stuff is kind of made that way these days where it's not blue screens, it's now the volume and stuff like that. But like, you had stuff like the first Sin City, and then obviously they did the second one many years later. But like, that this was kind of, I feel like pretty early in a trend of movies made kind of exclusively with just kind of actors synthetic interacting on a blue screen, stuff, and everything else is kind of done in the computer and done around it. And I think this one is definitely more than backgrounds. I think the color grading and the cinematography definitely makes it feel very, very specific, like trying to recreate that look and feel of the comic or the original graphic novel. I don't know. I actually think it worked for me in this first one.
That's and we're going to talk about the second one.
Yeah, there's going to be a juxtaposition that we'll have to make, certainly.
Something to be what is it? You can't emulate it. You know what I mean? Somebody perfected this thing.
Try as you might. You might try. You might fail. We'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it. Yeah. The biggest thing for me is you talk again about the slow-mo. There's just so much slow-mo, but then it's funny because there's so much slow-mo in the sequel, and it's just like, oh, you found the slow-mo button. You're just using it completely in the fucking wrong spots.
Yeah,
like you have no.
Yeah. See, the thing. That's the thing. We're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah,
and
a
it's
little
fine
bit.
because we're going to get in there. But the sequel really puts into perspective that there's a tasteful way to do all the things that are present in 300, which I know feels kind of weird and is sort of like using tasteful as a descriptor of 300 makes no fucking sense. But like relatively speaking, it kind of makes sense. Yeah, there's a fuck ton of slow-mo in 300, but it's used, I think, pretty well. And it is, over the top, and it's a whole thing, and it's, it's kind of comical because Zack Snyder himself became a parody of himself, in subsequent films with the amount of slow-mo that he's used. And like the CG blood is another thing where it's just like, all right, come on. But you see it in other contexts and you're like, all right, it wasn't so bad actually. I think I kind of get it now. And and there's so much of that about the first 300 where it's just, it is very much a product of its time in the way that it was shot, the way that it looks, and the way, the certain sort of things that then became used, and maybe not just 300, but definitely in its sequel and other things. And you look at that first 300 in a vacuum and you're kind of just like, there's a reason that so many things started to look to 300 and tried to emulate it, because the first 300 movie did all those things actually really quite well. And I think even in 2025, almost 2026, I can say, having revisited 300 now for the first time in more than a decade, I think it did all those things pretty freaking well. Like, I do think that it kind of nailed it. Like, it's not an amazing movie, it's not a perfect movie, but like, honestly, for like, there's a version of this movie. Well, there's a version, where I'm like, oh, I love this movie when I was a teenager, and it just perfectly appealed to my adolescent sensibilities. And now that I'm an adult, I'm like, oh no, this movie fucking sucks. And it's like, honestly, I don't think it does. I think it's pretty good. I think it's pretty tight. I think it's pretty lean. I think it's pretty mean. It's got some great action. I think visually, overall, like it does look like a graphic novel, and I think that was the intent. And I think they realized their intent, and like, you've got great performances. You've got some cool fucking sequences and moments and quotable dialogue. This is Sparta. It's iconic, man. It's memed to death now. I get it, but like, I don't know, man. It's still pretty fucking cool at the end of the day.
It is cool.
Gerard Butler has a great fucking presence as Leonidas. He feels like someone who could, rouse 300 Spartans to almost basically completely fuck up the entire Persian army, were it not for one shitbag, that betrays them. I don't know, all around pretty good. David Wenham, he's got the voice that I'm narrating the film of 300.
I really enjoyed that, the way that the story's put together in the graphic novel, and it translated very well.
No, the narrative structure. I mean, having that kind of like, I mean, we know, we've seen this movie before, but like, also we kind of know, if we have some sort of tangential knowledge of history, that like, these 300 Spartans are not going to be enough. Those are insurmountable odds at the end of the day. But having the way that the whole story is framed, I think is really cool. I think Lena Headey's is great. This was probably it was probably one of the first things we saw her in before she went on to be Cersei in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Going on to bigger things. Like, really, a lot of actors in here, did go on to do bigger and I don't want to say better things. Well, probably overall better things, but Dominic West, certainly Fassbender, as we've talked about, was someone who I don't think any of us knew when 300 came out, and has done many, many things since. But all around, like, just a really, I don't know, like, this is just a good, fun movie that I think is pretty tight, and I might even say, even though it holds up for me personally, I think it might hold up generally speaking. I might go that far. I mean, I think you got to know what you're getting. So maybe it's unfair if you're adding like a little caveat to it, but like no one's watching into 300 thinking like, I don't know, anyone that knows anything about 300 should know what they're getting. But I think that it, for what it is, I don't know, man. I think it holds up. I think it does.
It's an iconic movie. Culturally impactful.
For sure. Yeah.
Big movie.
I don't know if it's in the, Congress's whatever, notable and historical achievement or whatever the hell. No, I mean, it's not quite that. But but for what it is, it's a great epic historical action film, as Wikipedia classifies it. But I think it's just a lot of fun, and I think
it's a lot of fun.
I do think that, I don't know. I think the comparisons are made more stark by its sequel, so we'll need to get there in a minute. But like, I think that it, I don't know. I mean, I just think I had a really good time with it. I had fun revisiting it. I think the style of it, the cinematography of it, all really worked. Really worked overall. I think it makes sense why this movie had such cultural impact for us particularly, but just generally speaking, left a big footprint, I think, overall, which was I think deserved. I think in retrospect I would say deserved. So
that source material too, man. The source material is fucking on point.
Yeah. it's kind of funny because I feel like I don't know if I said as much, but full spoilers for all these movies that are. I think I did. Full spoilers for these movies that are quite old. We haven't really talked too much about spoilers, I guess, for a lot of these things. I don't really know what there is to say. I mean, obviously, again, things don't work out too well for the company.
Some things end.
300 versus however many thousands is just it's not going to work out too well. But he makes the god bleed, the god king bleed, and then that's it's a good moment. The fucking throwing of the spear, There's some I don't know. There's some brutal shit in here, but all in all, it's just I don't know. It's just fun. It's just good fun, and I guess maybe just a reminder, of our childhood, and a reminder of times where things like this just kind of came out and they were fun. But even in my adulthood, I had good fun with 300.
It's I sat out there. I asked Sarah to watch it with me. She watched about 5 minutes and she went into the room. And I sat out there and I drank a bottle of red wine.
She didn't have any sort of nostalgia for 300.
No,
then is what you're saying.
Definitely not. But I sat out there and I drank my bottle of red wine and I had a blast. I thought it was fun.
This is a good red wine movie, or
for sure,
a couple brewskis kind of movie.
Yeah, you sit out there and you can yell at the screen. You can yell back at the screen. You know what I mean? I think the only movie that really scratches the itch is The Northman. The Northman, I felt the same kind of
yeah. That's almost like the modern.
Whoa! Just you watch it and you get pumped. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just a
primal shit.
Yeah,
man.
It's a primal thing that you Yeah, I don't know. Invokes some deep seated things, and I don't know. It's fucking cool. Cool shit.
I totally agree.
Shit.
I totally agree.
And I think it's really cool too. There's some heroic people, dude.
Mm-hmm.
There's I don't know. I'm surrounded by not a lot of heroic people, and there's some heroic people out there. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
It's fucking cool. Leonidas was a cool dude. That's all I got. That's really all I got. Leonidas was could you imagine if that was your king? If that was your king, you're going to fucking
He probably would inspire me to lead me to my death. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. Fuck yeah. Anyways, that's all I got on that. I mean, 300 is an iconic movie, invokes primal rage. The fact that it's a historical event just makes it even more badass. The 300 graphic novel is badass. I just everything about the movie is badass. The style of this movie is probably not for everybody. It's a stylistic take. It's not even a stylistic take, like you said. It's pulled directly from the page. But it is
it's stylistic. It's just a very particular style that you may or may not like.
That's right. But if you're there for it, I think you'll have a lot of fun with it. Like I said, I think it's the nostalgia that I feel for this movie is huge. Like I said, it's deep rooted in a very pleasant time in my life. It was just awesome times, So yeah, I'm here for it, dude. It was like I said, I had a lot of fun. It was good of you to recommend it. It was a good recommendation for a bonus episode for sure.
Well, I mean, it's fun because we haven't. It's as we said, it's been so long since we've seen 300. The first one, very very specifically, is one that I think for both of us we have a lot of nostalgia for. So it was kind of fun to revisit it. We'll get into the second one in a second, see if we feel the same way. But we never, at least, this is not an insult against the second one. We may have some of those yet, but. We never had the nostalgia for the second one the same way that we had for the first one. I mean, part of it, I think, is that the second one came out so many years after the fact, and we were just older and different points in our lives. But that first one came out at such a critical, point. But man, it was just fucking iconic. And I'm happy. I'm happy that it didn't feel like there are a lot of things that you'll watch that you liked as a kid or as a teenager or whatever, and then you revisit it now and you're like, this kind of fucking sucks, doesn't it? Like, you know,
Yeah,
like,
right.
or it doesn't age well in other ways. You know, like it looks like shit, or you know, it's
Right.
you know, thematically problematic, or you know, like there's so many different things that can go wrong. Like, you know, like that. It's nice to kind of have something like this that, like, I don't know, feels like it could have been something that aged like shit in many many ways. But I don't think it did. I really don't think it did.
No.
I think it, you know, it's very much what it is, you know, front and center, no bones about it, not hiding what it is. But man, you know, I think, I don't know. I just had a blast with it. I really, really enjoyed the first 300. So,
Tonight we dine in hell.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Spartans.
oh man.
It's a good one.
We'll start quote. We'll just quote it at each other for 2026 until the Odyssey. You want to do that? We can do that. We can commit to doing that.
What we need to talk about is the second one, Rise of an Empire.
We need to complete our episode. 300 Rise of an Empire dropped in March of 2014, 7 years after its predecessor, written by Zack Snyder and Kurt Johnstad, directed by, not Zack Snyder, Noam Murrow, based sort of on Xerxes by Frank Miller. I say sort of because I think he had written part of it, but it hadn't been, it wasn't actually published until several years after Rise of an Empire came out. So I think, I don't know, it was kind of co-developed in some ways and then kind of diverted and became its own sort of thing by the time it actually came out. But anyway, Rise of an Empire stars Sullivan Stapleton, Eva Green, Lena Headey, Rodrigo Santoro, Jack O'Connell, Hans Matheson, Callan Mulvey, and David Winham. It's about Greek general Themistocles of Athens, who leads the naval charge against invading Persian forces led by mortal-turned-god Xerxes and Artemisia, the vengeful commander of the Persian navy. All right. Well, let's start with like a question here. Did you see this when it came out?
No.
Or around the time it came out? Like,
no.
So was this the first time you've ever seen this movie, or had you seen it before?
No.
This is your first time.
This is my first time. Yes.
Oh boy. Okay. I've seen it once to answer my own question prior to rewatching it. I had seen it just the once, and I think I didn't see it in theaters, if I recall correctly. 2014, because 2014, I'm trying to rack my brain of like where in life I would have been at that point.
Gainesville, right? Gainesville, or you would have been in like Coast Guard.
Right, yeah. No, 2014. I graduated. I think this would have come out March. This would have come out before I went into the Coast Guard. I think I would have been working at a Regal when this movie came out. Maybe
so you could have saw it for free and you chose not.
I either saw this in theaters for free or chose not to for some reason. I think it's probably more likely that I did see it in theaters for free. That seems like a thing I would have done at the time, especially because I would have graduated from college by the time this came out, and so I would have been just working. So like I would have had like really no excuse to see this other than I really, really don't want to see this, which I very well may have felt in the moment of being like, I don't need a 300 sequel, prequel, whatever the fuck this is. I don't know. I can't remember. Maybe that speaks volumes of itself. But I did rewatch it for this episode. But I really, really want to hear what you thought about 300 Rise of an Empire on your first pass.
Dude. Where do I start?
Should I apologize for making you watch
So I spent like $2.99, I think, to I actually watched the trailer.
I did notice that. It wasn't streaming, right? Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And I don't think I bought it. I actually think for this particular movie, I watched the trailer and said, fuck no, I ain't spending any extra money on this. I'm going to rent it. And I rented it. I'm pretty sure I rented it.
How much money did that save you? Was it like a $5 difference? Or
I think
like a $2 difference?
No, I think it was like a $5 difference.
All right, I think you made the right call then, perhaps. Well, I don't want to speak for you. You tell me.
No, I won't watch this movie again unless Bennett would like to say, hey, why? Like maybe when he is 13, 14 years old and finds 300. Hey, I heard about this movie 300, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we're going to watch that. Oh, it has a sequel. Okay, we can watch it if you want. You know,
All right. It's been 15 years since the last time I tried it. Maybe it's better this time.
Well, yeah, that's right. I spent money to watch this movie,
All right. So there's already a lot more writing on it, because it's
I actually think I had to buy 300 as well.
Oh,
But that's
really?
different.
That's
I think I had to.
I weirdly enough own both of these on Blu-ray.
Okay.
And I owned the first 300. I just straight up on the Blu-ray. When we watched Troy for our bonus episode, the cheapest way to buy it was a 3-pack Blu-ray, which included Troy, 300, and 300 Rise of an Empire. So fortuitously, I already owned Rise of an Empire. Otherwise, I might feel in the same boat of like $3. I've seen this movie before. I don't know that I want to do that. Maybe it's better. It's been 10 years. I don't know. No, it's not any better. I don't think.
I think I watched it on Christmas Eve too. I watched it on Christmas Eve.
I split my viewing into about 7 different sessions because I was trying to watch it throughout all the Christmas festivities and I think I finally finished it on the 26th. So it's honestly, part of it was like, oh man, this movie is an hour and 40, but holy shit, it feels like 17 hours. But anyway, I'm sorry, I keep stepping on your toes. Tell me about your experience watching this movie. I'd love to hear about it. I want to hear about it.
We'll start with the spawn
push
blood.
The mic away.
Like everybody's got like this super gelatinous blood that gets sprayed, but it's not like a blood spray. It's like a blood ooze.
See. Now I'm ready to push the mic away, and then you keep saying things where I'm like, yes, I have to add my own input.
You notice that, right? Like it's like,
yeah.
Yeah,
it's a fucking juice flowing around everyone, man. It's juice.
I don't know. That's not what blood looks like. The person that made this clearly has never seen. Did he ever watch 300?
And that's the thing. It's kind of just like, oh, like 300 had CG blood. 300 had a lot of the things that the sequel does, and I'm like, but why does it look so much worse here? Why is it? It's like we took all the things that 300 had and just like did it to the most, like 300 was at like CG blood setting of like 4 or 5 out of 10. It's just like 10, 11, 12. Like, let's just keep stepping it up. Like, I want it to look like someone has spilled a bottle of juice every time anything happens in this movie. Man. And it's not just that. It's like everything about it. But anyway, again, I'm interjecting, and I'm trying to avoid doing that. Don't say anything I want to agree with. Say something I disagree with, or say something I'm like moderately agree with, so I don't feel like I have to like add my 2 cents. Then we'll be good.
Did you want to watch the Spartans?
Well, I did know that, at least because I'd seen this movie, it really wasn't going to be about a lot of the Spartans. So
yeah, like I watched 300 for the fucking Spartans.
Well, it's a tough thing because it's like one of those dumb things where it's the same exact shit I fucking railed on the Wake Up Dead Man about. Don't call this 300 because number 1, it's not about Spartans. Number 2, it's not about the 300 fucking Spartans anymore. I understand it's a franchise thing, but like this is not about those things. It's really not about those things anymore. Yeah. And I think even Frank Miller had the good sense to call his sequel Xerxes. And like, I don't think Xerxes would have been a good title for this movie. Like, don't get me wrong, but like, yeah, it is kind of silly in a sort of way because it's like, well, it's 300 connected, but it's like,
and I also remember how 300 ended.
Yeah, didn't end so well for those 300 except for David Wenham.
Well, I mean, David Wenham comes back and then he ends up telling the story to the other Spartans, and they got all the Spartans lined up on the front line ready to go fight.
Oh, that's true. They're ready to fight. Oh, that's a good point. They're ready to fight. No, that's a very good point. Yeah.
And so we watched this. I watched the train. Like, why are we fighting in the fucking water? Okay. And we get in here, and there's no Spartans until the end. The Spartan Navy comes in at the very end, and they fuck everything up. That's cool. But so narratively, I understand. It's not hard to understand the story that they're telling here. It's just I just didn't particularly care a whole lot. No,
I agree. And I actually really agree all around because it's like actually like what you're doing is getting into even more badass fucking ancient Greek history. The Battle of Marathon. You're getting into Xerxes' father and Darius. You're getting into the Battle of Artemisium. Like you're getting into like this big fucking badass cool naval battle. Like honestly, like actually, I kind of understand like why you would think making a movie about all these things and connecting it to the 300 universe, to the first 300 movie actually totally makes sense. I actually like, on paper, some pretty badass shit. Maybe it's not quite as badass as the 300 Spartans and the Battle of Thermopylae, but it's pretty fucking cool stuff in a vacuum. But I don't know. It doesn't, what works on paper doesn't work on screen, I guess, is my feeling.
Especially when you, like you say, you title it one thing, and then, it's about I can't remember his name. What's his name?
Themistocles.
Themistocles.
Yeah, that's another thing. It's just like you want to have this sort of Leonidas stand-in kind of guy, and this guy he's got no charisma compared to Jerry Butler. He's just not got it. And I don't know this guy. I don't want to, he might be fine in other things. I don't know that I've seen him in anything besides this movie. I don't even know that he's bad in this movie, but I just know he ain't got it in the same way that Gerard Butler's got it. Leonidas has a fucking spark, has that fucking charisma, has the badassery. This guy, he's got a beard, he's ripped, he's in his underwear and a blue cape instead of a red cape, so he's still like totally cool too. But like, he just doesn't.
He doesn't have it.
He doesn't bring it the same way. The way that, they try to give him these rousing war speeches and stuff like that. Like, you've got no one-liners. You've got nothing to bring to the table, man, other than your abs. You've got nothing. I'm sorry, dude, but you're just not the same. You are a pale imitation. You are not who I am here for.
And the lack of charisma, along with all the other missteps in this movie, make this movie very much feel like a direct-to-DVD movie. Like, if you would have told me, like, it came out direct-to-DVD,
it's brutal, but you're not wrong.
Because I don't think I remember this movie actually coming out. So we watched it, and I was like, maybe it's
was this direct-to-DVD? Maybe it was. Huh?
Yeah, that's kind of the vibes I got. Now, the one thing that would make me question whether or not that's the case is it's got Eva Green in it, right? She was pretty big around the time. She was in a lot of shit. She was James Bond.
She's doing other things.
She was in, what else was she in? She was in James Bond. Was she in Sin City too?
She was in Sin City 2, the number 2, the second one, Dame to Kill For.
Yeah, okay, I thought so. Okay. This was her time. She's around these movies. She's in a lot of stuff.
She's doing stuff in this era for sure. Yeah.
So she's the big name on this movie, and man, it's just the movie just really fucking sucks. The slow mo. So this movie also has slow mo. This movie also has just the color palette is it has opinions about colors, but it's just like
bad opinions.
It's just fucking right. Everybody's got their opinions, but some are fucking wrong, and this movie's opinions are wrong. Using slow-mo at the wrong time. It clearly doesn't know what blood looks like. The lead sucks. He's just a fart. You know what I mean? He's just a fart that kind of I don't know, dude. It was a fucking rough movie. I'm not gonna lie to you. I had a rough time. Xerxes looks like one way, and then he walks into the bath.
He walks into the bath pond. And he comes out with the gold.
He comes out gold and bald and fucking 10 foot tall. Why don't you sit in everybody in that fucking bath in that pond? It doesn't make any sense.
Not everybody is fit to be a god king.
And like the whole thing was like she's manipulating him into thinking he's a god, right? That's like the whole thing. Mm-hmm. So she sends him, but maybe it reverses on her. He comes out and he's actually a god. Was that the thing? Like, get out! I'm going to take over your court. I'm going to get rid of everybody that's going to agree with you. I'm going to kill them all. So she kills all the people. But then he actually comes back from exile, and he's fucking 10 foot tall and gold. And she's like, "Oh fuck, he's actually a god." I didn't know. Is that what I'm asking? Is that what I gather from this? Am I correct?
I mean, I think. Yeah, what's her intent? I don't know. Maybe Yeah, I mean, I think that's a fair read of, she's egging him on and like, oh, whatever, I'll just manipulate him and then oh shit, he's actually a god king, Like it kind of feels like she's trying to get him off the board so that she can kind of take over and seize power, and then like, oh shit, 10-foot god man, uh-oh. I don't know. It's a good question. I didn't really think about that too closely.
Yeah, I thought that was a little strange. What else was there in this movie?
A lot.
Yeah. You hit a lot harder than you fuck. There was that. Remember that one? That was a pretty good one.
Yeah. If there's any good one-liners, they gave it to Eva Green, I think is probably fair. Because I do think if I have one compliment to this movie, it's Eva Green. She's going for it, man. She's doing what she can. I mean, I think at the same time she kind of recognizes like this is kind of schlocky shit. You know what I mean? But she's leaning into it. She's doing it the right way. I think everyone else is almost taking it too seriously. Main guy's taking it too seriously. Like I think even like I'm not saying Gerard Butler wasn't taking 300 seriously, but like his character had an edge. His character had fun. His character was like they were one-lining. Michael Fassbender. We don't know who the fuck you are at the time. And you're one-lining about this guy's crazy. You know what I mean? Like I think there's just the sort of again that iconic dialogue of that first 300. Like I don't even think they really tried to recreate it here because I guess I don't know that you can, but like it didn't even really feel like they tried too hard. Like just everything was so self-serious, except for Eva Green, who like kind of knows that like she's the over the top, badass, villain, and like cool, man. Like I she's the one thing I can say about this movie. I'm just like, I like your style. I like other things, but I like your style too. Everything else though is just it's like taking the wrong lesson from the first 300 and just to the utmost extreme. The blood, like. And I do think that by comparison, you think about like that original 300 compared to this, and it's just like there's things about that original 300 where you're like, I don't know. This looks kind of, this is look good, that good. Is the blood too much? Is the slow-mo too much? And you really watch this movie and you're like, no, it wasn't. You nailed it. You absolutely nailed it. I regret criticizing you because there's a way to do every single aspect of that, but 10 times worse, and that's this movie. The blood is like comical and like the way it looks, how much there is, and it's just like to the levels of absurdity where it's just like, what are you doing? And like the slow-mo, right. And it's like I know we make fun of Zack Snyder for his slow-mo, and it's probably true. I think probably more of his past 300 movies where it got to the point of being ridiculous, but this movie was like, oh my god, like every 5 seconds, and there's points, and there's like this isn't even a slow-mo thing, but like there's a whole thing of what's his face killing Darius in the beginning because he's just standing on the fucking boat like a jackass, and he gets hit with the arrow. Yeah. Like, oh, your king is just standing on the front of his boat with no one on the boat except for like 2 other people and just standing around like, what's going on here? Is there anything happening? Oh shit, that's an arrow. Maybe I should move. No, I guess I'll just stand here. Ooh, I'm dead.
But the whole sequence was slow-mode, and the camera didn't even like fucking focus on the right shit. Like for example, we had this long panning shot, right? And there's your character, and he's picking up the bow. It's all in slow-mo, and then he draws the bow back, and then now there's abs in the center of the screen because somebody's walked in front of the frame.
Big sexy.
Slow-mo.
Yeah.
And then he's chopping somebody's head off, and you get the goo blood. And then now we're back on the guy releasing the arrow. It's absurd.
Yeah. Anyway, point being, they have that whole sequence, and they show it off like 30 minutes later, the exact same thing, like it's like a flashback. I'm like, motherfucker, that was 30 minutes ago. Like, I just saw this. Like, what are you doing? I don't know. There's like literally like probably like 45 minutes of actual footage that was shot here and stretched to an hour and 40 because the amount of slow-mo is just comical. Like, it is insane. I mean, I would say I've never seen anything like it, but again, those later Zack Snyder movies, I think, actually do rival it. Man. But it's the blood, it's the slow-mo, it's like, oh, we gotta have a cool, ripped, bearded guy as our lead character. That's, and like, I don't know, like it tried to just hit all those same hallmarks. And it was just pure amateur hour in every which way that it tried to replicate the original 300. And like, man, this shit fucking sucks, dude. Like this movie fucking blows. Like it's real bad. It's real bad. I don't even remember if I thought it was this real bad like back in the day, but like it's a really pale imitation of the first 300, which is not perfect. But again, I think
it is perfect compared to this.
It's perfect compared to this, and I do think, again, in a vacuum, I think it holds up pretty well overall. But yeah, relatively speaking, it is.
And I think really, if you want to make like the poster child of the things that 300 does, I think it is a poster child of what it's trying to do. I mean, it really does. It does a really effective job of being true to the source material, being entertaining, having a charismatic lead, having awesome action. Like it nails all the points. You know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah, and the other thing with this one too, that I'm just thinking about, like, obviously the first one's shot on blue screen with people in their underwear. This one's shot on blue screen with people in their underwear, and it was made 7 years later. And I'm like, why does this look worse than the first movie? I mean, I don't know if you felt the same way, but it's like. It was so much more obvious. I think the first one was done in a way with maybe it's a combination of the cinematography, the way that it's shot, the color grading, and all of it kind of coming together. Like, no, it really did look like a fucking graphic novel. And like, I don't know if that's what movies should look like, but whatever. This one just looks like fucking people in their underwear standing around on blue screens, and it looked ridiculous for like 90% of this runtime, where it just never felt like it didn't even feel stylized enough to even feel really like 300. It really was just like, oh, well, we'll just like make the, things like a gold or like really blue or something like that. And it just, I don't know. Like Sin City got the stylization thing done, in the right way. I don't know about A Dame to Kill For. I've only seen it once, and maybe we'll do a bonus episode and have the exact same realization of like, oh, the first Sin City is great and the second one's ass. It's very possible.
I haven't seen those movies in a long time either.
I mean, I don't know if they're epics necessarily, but we could certainly, I would watch those movies at some point. I mean, I will say, they're definitely in a similar vein of like what they're trying to be, of straight up kind of Frank Miller adaptation kind of deals. But I don't know, this one. It's almost like they needed to wait for Frank Miller to finish writing his fucking graphic novel sequel so they could actually rely on those frames as storyboard type things to like recreate it, because it kind of felt like they had like a loose idea of like, well, he's doing this thing about this this period of the time and these characters and like there's just no aspect of this movie that's good. The writing's ass, the dialogue's ass. The acting's mostly ass. Sorry, Eva Green, you tried your best. I mean, she's ridiculous and over the top. I don't know if she's like good, but I do think she's leaning into it in the best way possible. Like she recognizes the sort of cornball nature of it.
The material.
Right. Whereas everyone else is just like, oh, fuck yeah, I'm in a 300 sequel. I'm going to get fucking swole as fuck and everyone's going to love
this. This is my chance.
This is my chance. And like, yeah, and it's just like a bunch of people are like, who are you? Although I will say young Jack O'Connell in this definitely didn't recognize at the time Remick from Sinners. He was just a baby in this movie, if you recognized him. But and like Lena Headey, Rodrigo Santoro coming back, I'm sure got nice paychecks and stuff like that. But obviously,
it was him, wasn't it? He was the son of the guy.
He was the son of the guy. That's right. He was the son of the guy. He was just a baby in this movie, though. Hey, good on him. You got to get your start somewhere. I don't know if this is actually his start, but first thing I probably had seen. He's the Fassbender equivalent. You had to have someone that's gone on to doing a lot bigger things that you've seen him in that you recognize him for past this one. So he was kind of the Fassbender.
I was trying to put my finger on it too. I was like, he looks familiar, this guy.
Oh, as soon as I saw him, I was just like, I think he's just a baby. And he probably would have been like 18, 19, 20, something like that. I don't even know roughly, but something around that. But he's a baby. Any nice things to say about this movie other than Eva Green looking good?
I think Eva Green probably is honestly the only thing.
She did what she could. It was not enough. I'm so sorry, Eva, but I respect what you tried to do. You saved this from being I'm so mad that I've wasted my time that I will fucking spend 3 hours on the podcast ranting and raving to just a 30 to 40 minutes of, well, this movie's dog shit. Can you believe how dog shit that movie was? But what about that Eva Green though? You know, like that's where I'm at. So,
it's been the first movie I've watched in quite some time. That is,
yeah. I mean, was the last time you saw something this bad?
It's been a good minute. That's to say that even though this movie was dog shit, and it definitely was dog shit, it was so dog shit that I wasn't mad I spent $2 on it.
Did you have fun with it?
Like, it was laughably bad.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I say,
It wasn't overtly long enough. It wasn't so long.
No, it was short. It's an hour 40. Like, it's respectably short. It just feels a lot longer than it is. And again, part of that for me was that I split it into 5 different viewing sessions. But
I also had a bottle of wine while I was watching it.
There was a couple,
something else.
There was I got to like 30, 40 minutes in, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what is going on right now. And I turned it off, and I went back and I like watched it the next day, and I'm like, I don't remember the past 10 minutes. I had to back it up. I turned this into a 3-hour viewing experience. And so some of that's self-induced.
Backtrack.
But I think it was a coping mechanism in some ways too. So, or
brain starting to block shit out.
I was protecting myself, I think. Yeah. Yeah. That's
all I got on that.
There's not much good here. Little mid sequel sort of thing. Pre-sequel. I call it a pre-sequel because it's like before, during, and after.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, that's 300. Rise of an Empire. What a generic fucking bullshit title. I guess it's fitting.
Yeah, right.
Anything with Rise in it is like bound to be like, I think Rise of the Planet of the Apes is probably the one exception, and even then that's still a dumb shit fucking title that actually doesn't really make sense for that movie. Yeah. But like Rise of Skywalker. Yeah. You know, Rise of what? Rise of the Guardians, another Zack Snyder fucking owl movie. I never saw it, but it's probably bad. I don't know. Rise of the anything. It just feels so generic. It's just so generic. It's like, God, can you think of the most generic fucking title? Just throw Rise in the beginning of it.
Dark Knight Rises is also...
That's not a good... It's a bad title. It's fucking lazy as shit. You got Batman Begins. Not in a great title, but like it tells you what you need to know. The Dark Knight, great fucking title. The Dark Knight Rises. Oh, you went from Batman Begins to The Dark Knight. You couldn't think of anything else. You couldn't think of the Caped Crusader. You couldn't think of anything that maybe would feel like we've turned this into something, you know, like actually exciting. Let's just pop Rises at the end of The Dark Knight and call it a day.
Bullshit. And he actually doesn't rise. Like, he quits being Batman at the end of it.
That's just fucking true. He just fucking quits. He just fucking up and quits. He says, Anne Hathaway's here. I'm sorry, Alfred. Done. I think I'm good. I think I'm good, actually. Can he be blamed? No, I get it. But
I guess he does rise. He gets out of the pit, I guess.
But, yeah. Well, or is it that Joseph Gordon-Levitt is the new Dark Knight and he's rising?
Oh, see, we never got that, did we? That would have been cool.
Anyway, don't put Rise in a title. It's my end of my mini rant of how stupid of a fucking generic bullshit ass fucking title it is. Although put it in there if you want to signal to your audience, hey, this is dog shit and we put no effort into this whatsoever. So fuck you.
Or the actual film itself.
Right. Exactly. All right. Well, so what do you think? Do you think you need more 300 in your life? Do you think you're content with these 2 movies? Do you think you could see a third one?
I would take a movie, an action movie, with a charismatic bunch of characters kicking ass.
Okay.
Yes, I'll do that.
But literally connected to 300, or are you just saying you want a movie?
Oh,
that
yeah, like we
people?
we don't need another. We don't need more Spartans. I mean, you can. Don't get me wrong. You could tell another Battle of Thermopylae. I'd be there for it.
Okay, like a different, like less stylized, maybe a more like, you know, actual kind of depiction of it, maybe.
Yeah,
sort of
yeah,
thing.
right, exactly. And you could actually start it off with the Battle of Marathon. I think that's
sure.
that
do
came
all
before.
These things. You know, give us some more. Yeah,
you want to do a trilogy? Do a trilogy.
Yeah. I'd be down. I mean,
and
like,
it could
cool
end. The trilogy could end.
Is.
The trilogy could end with the Battle of Thermopylae. and it would end on like a kind of note. You know what I'm saying? Be like,
well, it could end, but there's some more history beyond that paints a more positive picture for Greece, for Sparta. I don't know. So Zack Snyder has tinkered with the idea of doing a third 300 movie. I'll just tell you this right now, based on what I've read on the internets, so it must be true. Well, once upon a time, he wanted to do a 300 sequel that would go beyond ancient Greece, such as the American Revolutionary War, the Battle of the Alamo, or a battle in China, which I will say sounds like a Zack Snyder-ass answer. And so thankfully we haven't had that yet. But he also wanted to do an Alexander the Great 300 thing, because apparently the Xerxes sequel that Frank Miller did had some sections about Alexander. And so he wanted to kind of do a sequel that would focus on, I guess, the parts of that Xerxes graphic novel sequel that weren't adapted in Rise of an Empire.
Okay.
And so we haven't heard anything on that in a couple of years. Snyder said in December of 2023, just a couple of years ago, that he has the rights for those things and wants to develop those things. But obviously he's been hanging out in Netflix land with Rebel Moon and Rebel Moon
Whatever
2.
the fuck.
Whatever, I don't know if he's quite in director jail yet, but he's certainly working himself towards that direction. Unless Paramount takes over WB and he gets to restart the Snyderverse, we'll see. I mean, I think I'm kind of at the point of just being like, you know what, one and done should have been that. You kind of bungled that. You showed us, I think, in one foul swoop. One was enough. You didn't need to do more. You didn't need to further the story. I get it. The history is cool. There's some cool stuff. I get it. Eva Green is really cool. I totally get it. I get it. But maybe enough is enough, right? Let 300 exist on its own.
That's really all I ever needed. It's probably why I didn't see this direct-to-DVD movie.
This direct-to-DVD movie made like $300 million.
Did it really?
Box office. Something like that. I closed the window for it, but something like that. Let's see what it actually came up with. I didn't do a box office breakdown. Yeah, no, budget of 110, box office of 337 mil.
I call that a success.
That's pretty good, actually. So, it's actually kind of surprising that we actually properly haven't had a sort of sequel, That's way better than I would have guessed. I thought this would have crashed and burned. But no, had a number one opening weekend, 45 million. I don't know what it was playing against or anything like that back in those days. I mean, I guess I would have been working and should have known. Oh, Mr. Peabody and Sherman it was up against. So it was a real counter-programming situation of kids movie versus very much not a kids movie sort of deal. But Lego Movie was in its third or fourth weekend, maybe fifth weekend. So Lego Movie was making noise. So yeah, what a time capsule! Incredible stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I do kind of feel like part of the problem too with that sequel was like the moment had passed. By the time 2014 had arrived, it was just like, do we care?
Yeah, I missed the boat.
And I guess the answer was actually kind of. It's been long enough that kind of. But we have not seen anything in the 11 years since, so perhaps it will remain that way. Perhaps they will go down the well again. We'll see. We'll just have to wait and see. All right. Do you have any final thoughts you want to share on the 300 franchise?
If you haven't seen the first one, watch it.
If you haven't seen the second one,
don't.
Give it a miss.
Yeah, just be done. Just be done with 300 and be okay with it,
300 franchise. How could there be a franchise? There's only one of them. That's crazy talk.
It's like, I would say it's similar to, what's that fucking cop movie, or cop show?
Oh, True Detective.
True Detective, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, there's only one of them. Yeah, no, the season for the first and only season is fantastic.
Some of the best television you'll ever watch. Don't watch any of the other ones.
Yeah. All right. Well, we will wrap it up there then. Thank you all for listening. If you enjoyed what you heard, please spread the word. We are on Patreon at patreon.com/watchreviewrepeat. I talked a little bit about this already, but you can get early access to all of our regular episodes that we record in 2026 and beyond, as well as time-exclusive access to bonus episodes like this one. And hopefully we'll record a few more than one in 2026, but that remains to be seen. I will not promise that just yet until I've had a conversation with my podcast co-host off air, and we figure out what our intent is on that front. But we will do at least one. I'll make that promise. At least one in 2026. Maybe we'll do more. But either way, those are extra things that we offer, to try to sell people on our Patreon. So that, I get it. It's real money. It's hard to spend real money on things that otherwise would be free. I totally get it. I don't blame anyone that doesn't support us on Patreon. I never hold it against anyone, but I am especially thankful of those who have supported us on Patreon in the past. And so, yeah, if you are, we want to do a bonus episode in the future, and you want to be part of the first few to hear it. Patreon.com/watchreviewrepeat. Definitely encourage it. Our website otherwise is watchreviewrepeat.com. We have links to all of our socials that we're on there, including Facebook, where we're at facebook.com/watchreviewrepeat. We are also on Instagram at watchreviewrepeat, and we're on Blue Sky at watchreviewrepeat.bsky.social. We are available at Gmail if you want to send us an email and get in contact with us. If you have questions, comments, or suggestions. I guess really at this point about anything in 2025, anything in 2026 in the early days, any bonus episode suggestions, we're always happy to see what you guys want to talk to us about. So watchreviewrepeat@gmail.com. If you've got something to say, send it our way. Our intro and outro track is Mechanolith by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com. That is licensed under the Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0 license. What are we going to do on our next bonus episode? No fucking clue. No idea. We have no idea. This was very much a one-off deal that we came up with because of the inspirations that we talked about. I don't know. Maybe we continue with more epics. Maybe we go in a totally different direction. It's wide open at this point. And I think our hope, our aspirations are to do more than one bonus episode in 2026. But
yes, definitely.
The life has funny turns. Things get crazy. I do think with our recording schedule, where we're not spending 4 hours recording, on most days, then maybe that opens up the door for more bonus episodes. I think it's certainly feasible, but like I said, conversation we'll need to have. It's really about where the inspiration is, whether it's tying into something that's coming out, in 2026, whether it's a series like the epic stuff that we've done, or it's just some random one-off thing that's just like, hey, what if we talked about these fucking things? It'll hit us, but we're of course open to suggestions, but we'll figure it out. And then in terms of regular episodes, I actually don't know where this is going to slot in. This is somewhere in 2026. I don't know exactly where, but we've got, I know, one or two last minute 2025 things we're covering to actually start the new year. And then we'll be doing, year in review, look ahead episodes before we properly dive into 2026 stuff. So this will be sandwiched in there somewhere in that bunch. So I cannot tell you. I cannot predict the future. I do not know what we will be covering in the future of 2026. But certainly listen to your latest regular episode, and that'll give you some clear direction of what the future has in store for you, for our listeners, for Watch Review Repeat. So with all of that said, I think it's time to call it an episode there. Mr. Mattis?
Spartans! Oh! Oh! Oh!